Hi everybody and welcome to your Divine Masculine Speaks reading. So I'm just going to jump in here. The energies have really been swirling around quite high. It's a highly emotional time. So let's just check in with the Divine Masculine on how he's thinking, feeling, and whether or not he'll come towards you. So, for his thought space, we have the Six of Swords to start off with. Super interesting. I sense this Divine Masculine is really thinking about the things that went wrong. We have the Ten of Rods or Wands in reverse. Letting go of burdens. And we have the Empress, also in reverse. So your Divine Masculine's definitely thinking about you. We have the sixes, we have the tens, and the threes. So in numerology, it's about creativity, beginnings and endings, and nostalgia. And we're in a 6 universal year, so empaths are definitely going to be more affected by this. I think he's trying to really let go of some of the burdens in his life, but also some of the burdens of this connection, some of the things I'm getting that he thought were initially burdens at first, but actually aren't. Limiting beliefs, doubts he may have had about you in his mind. Yeah, there's just the sense that, like, he's gotten you all wrong, hasn't he? That really you are this Empress. You're the Divine Feminine, and he's just been resisting the idea that you've been his counterpart this entire time. So I'm going to say that good times are ahead. You know, we have the Eight of Cups on the bottom, which traditionally symbolize like somebody trying to move on and get over something. And since it's in reverse and underneath I just saw the Page of Cups, this is somebody who's trying to reestablish this connection. He can't move on. He can't forget about you. In his heart, he wants to extend a message. It's almost like you reminded him of this time when he felt free and had a deep connection to his inner child and just kind of acted on impulse or instinct and lived with more joy. So that's a nice message there. Let's just pull a few cards from the Vessel Oracle deck and see if anything else here wants to come up in regards to what he's thinking about. Something's causing him anxiety. That's an interesting card right there. Often we see with the Ten of Wands in reverse, that indicates a period of feeling overwhelmed or getting over feeling overwhelmed. And I think the Divine Masculine, especially with rest here, has realized he's been stressed out and pushed himself to his breaking point so many times now, he just doesn't have the bandwidth for it anymore. There's got to be a better way. What else is he thinking about? It gets better. Yeah, so resolution is on this Divine Masculine's mind. And you might be saying to yourself, not me, not my connection. You know, he just cut off communication with me. We haven't talked in like 10 years. But, you know, there's a quality of endurance to the twin flame connection. Nobody really knows how long a period of separation is going to be, but it does get better. The lessons you learn throughout that separation and the union that happens within that eventually mirrors what's going on Earth in the 3D. However bittersweet and sometimes tedious, it does get better, I promise. So that's just kind of a message from Spirit there for you that your Divine Masculine's working on your behalf and the universe is working on your behalf. It's just sometimes in certain political climates or star celestial configurations, things feel a little bit tense. And right now, with the new moon in Cancer, the sun in Cancer, And I believe our full supermoon is, that might be in Capricorn, yeah. Our configurations with Saturn and Pluto, it's a really serious time, you guys. I mean, in the United States too is in its, let me shuffle these really quick. Pluto return. I mean, we are really seeing some collective karma come up. So let's just check in with his feeling space. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. And of course, take what resonates and leave the rest. This is a general reading, but there are some overarching understandings for the collective here as well. And we have the Lovers. Yeah, choices. Interesting. High Priestess in reverse on the bottom here. Oh, 2 cards came out. We have the Seven of Swords, but we also have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So in the feeling space, interesting that the number 4 came out. We're in a 4 universal month. It's all about finding stability, and we have the 2 of Swords in reverse on the bottom here. So what I see going on in the feeling space basically is like, for some of you, this could be an indication that he's been seeing a karmic false twin, or in a relationship of some kind with somebody that isn't a part of this ascended connection. And I kind of get for some of you that this is because like the masculine's feminine side has been so wounded, he's searching for a mother figure. And of course, Cancer this month is the sign of the Great Mother. I think what's really interesting here is, like, especially with the Queen of Pentacles, this mother is somebody that's taking care of everything for him. She's got her finances in the order. She's a homemaker. She has dinner on the table for him every night. I think there's a tendency sometimes to slip back into tradition. And honestly, if you want a traditional relationship, that's totally fine. Like, no judgment. It's not like, oh, I'm in an ascended connection and we have to have a modern whatever. But just as a message for some of you, some of the divine masculines have this gender wounding or gender roles wounding, where they say things to themselves like, the husband doesn't cook, or I don't want my wife to work, or a woman's place is X, Y, and Z. And there's just kind of like this machismo overall that we're going through right now. I mean, I hate to use the word patriarchy because so many people have so many understandings of what that word means, but it takes all kinds. So just for some of you, this might be something the masculine is dealing with. This idea of these are all the connections that I've known previously. This is the connection my family had, and this connection doesn't fit into that box. What do I do with it, And yet we have the Seven of Swords here. So this kind of indicates that there was a betrayal. Somebody stole something from somebody. And I just kind of feel like he feels like you broke his heart, He didn't really see it coming. It was like you were a thief in the night, and this is how he responded. He became this Knight of Swords and had some brash, harsh words and opinions about it, and feels like he may have damaged the connection because of them. So I think in the feeling space, he's really trying to see to a certain extent, and this might be the lesson if this person is with a karmic twin or just, another person, that he's trying to learn from this other person how to find feminine strength and how to communicate in that way. You see again the sixes with the Lovers. I think in general, this divine masculine is having a hard time balancing these energies within. But at least at this point, he knows, what kind of, he knows that he should have a balance there. Let me just pull some more messages here. Really interesting feeling space. Your masculine has a tendency, like when he feels hurt, to attack. Um, and that's not necessarily his fault. So this is a past life relationship. These things can be very triggering. And perhaps this is also where you get that kind of traditionalism. If the relationship is rooted ancestrally and this person is gaining evidence along the way of all of these past lives he or she has had, there may be this desire to kind of play those out, especially if your past lives ended in some kind of a trauma. So like, let's just say, for example, like war separated you. So then there would be a desire somewhere for some masculines to recreate that situation and have it go better this time. But it's hard to do that kind of thing, let's say, if this situation happened in a medieval context to now, because women as a whole are so very different than they were then. And what's going on, the issues that we're facing collectively, politically, socially, nationally, globally, are all so different. So it's kind of this feeling of like, you can't really go back, you know? And I think I'm going to do a meditation soon about the Akashic records, because I've been asked, and it's my understanding, like, this is work that people can benefit from, but also want. And there's not a whole lot known about it. So if you're first starting out into this connection, look into Akashic Records work, and you can healthfully look into some of those potential ancestral issues in meditations like this. Let your friends help you, ask for and accept support from others. Yeah, so you know, it's just the lesson of the feminine, isn't it? That we would have a sisterhood, or that we would more naturally ask for help. Again, this is a traditionalist trait, so like, take what resonates and leave the rest. I believe your divine masculine may be asking about you to friends, to mutual friends, if you have mutual friends, or asking his own friends, what should I do about this situation? Often I think twin flames feel a little bit out on a limb because it's such a unique connection. So, you know, I always say, be patient. If you believe that things won't change, they won't change. There is something to the law of attraction. What you are projecting, you're going to get back. And that's why everybody in the spiritual community is like, try to be as high vibrational as possible. And this is one way to do it, you know, unburden yourself to somebody and let your friends help you. However, there are caveats, and I have heard different readers along the way say there's a potential for jealousy from other people in regards to this connection, or they're only going to give you advice based on the lens that they have. So you might get confused, or somebody might purposefully mislead you. You're just going to have to practice discernment there. I don't think that's a reason to cut yourself off or not explain this connection to others. But it's just something to be aware of. So I think if I had to look at the feeling space as a whole, this divine masculine is kind of on the knife's edge of making a choice of what kind of man, quote, that he wants to be. And I feel to a certain extent there's a lot of sorrow and regret here. You know, the masculine just wants to get back to this. He wants to get back to the passion, the seduction of it, the joy. And there's just something about him that's been disconnected from all of that. I kind of want to pull a little bit more from the Vessel Oracle deck to see, like, what has disconnected him from his heart space. Is it recent? Is it old? Look at this. Self-doubt. Yeah. There you have it. I think when this masculine looks in the mirror, he sees a toxic person. So your masculine may have pulled away from you because he's like, I'm going to save you from me, the dragon, the beast within. And he's isolated himself and disconnected and shut himself off. And that hasn't allowed him to make his way in the world the way that he wanted. There's some serious childhood wounds holding him back. So again, I ask you to do inner child meditations as well. This is a great time for purging. And then again, on the bottom, some of you might be, the thing that might have been in the way is the religious factor. If you're an atheist and your partner is a Christian, if you are Muslim and your partner is Jewish, if you don't affiliate with religion, but a spirituality and your counterpart doesn't, it's just some learning that might happen. Consequently, this might be the thing that separates this twin flame from the karmic, and eventually this person will realize the spiritual nature of this connection really takes center stage here. Very interesting. Okay, so if this divine masculine could say anything to you right now, what would it be? I've looked you up online to see what you've been up to. Yeah. A little bit of stalking here. Maybe that's also what's causing this person to have anxiety and self-doubt. Things look a lot better over the internet than they are in real life. I think if this person knows that you've been thinking about them, and obviously that's what brought you here, they wouldn't feel so forgotten. They wouldn't feel so lonely. But they are dreaming about you. This is a potent time for dreams. I would definitely suggest putting a dream journal by your bed. We will be together again. I love that. So despite everything that's going on, despite this massive amount of confusion, and you might have felt this, honestly, over the 5D, some people report signs of depression right now. We have some celestial storms going on, that heavy, heavy energy of Saturn. And on the bottom here, I feel badly for the way I treated you. But here's the purpose of this time, we recognize where we're falling short of ourselves. We recognize our mistakes, and we find a way forward. You just really got to push through it. So this is like a message from anybody, for anybody going through something super rough right now. You just got to push through it. Tomorrow's a new day. It's really like that. I don't mean to minimize anything anybody's going through, but what's up must come down, down must come up, changes will happen, you will feel better. You just gotta do what you can to support your body and your mind and spirit healthfully, and pray and wait, and that could mean whatever it means to you. So in the action space, we have the Magician. What a wonderful card for the action space. This is like the ultimate, well, I wouldn't say the ultimate action card, but number one certainly does symbolize beginning energy, but also independence and leadership. So I think your divine masculine is going to pull himself out of this self-doubt soon. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it might feel like he didn't get what he wanted now, but fear not, this person feels as though their dreams are within reach. They're gaining speed. Luck is on the horizon, and they're coming for you. We also have the 5 of Cups. How interesting. In sharp contrast to a lot of these cards, this certainly doesn't feel very positive. But I think that it signifies that this person still has some grieving left to do, still has some gratitude left. They're all cups. He's definitely in his feeling space. He's confronting his shadow. He's learning what it means to be feminine. And he's got you, the Queen of Wands, mistress of the occult, leading the way, showing him where he's spent too long on vanity, when he's gotten stuck and needs to go in a new direction, inspiring him to entrepreneurship. Yeah, I mean, And change. You know, the meaning of the fives are definitely change. So something is beginning, something is ending, things are changing. We see that through all the thinking, feeling, and action space. There's really no indication that this person is going to reach out like today or tomorrow. But I think the desire to communicate is there. And that's important. All right. Let's take a look at some messages. We have share. When you share, everyone feels happy. We have grandparent. You have a special bond with a grandparent that can't be broken. Love from your parents here is on the bottom. And we also have best friends. That's really nice. True friends stick together no matter what. So like there's this feeling to me that, again, we have some spiritual messages. Keeping yourself in high vibration will help share that energy over the 5D. If you're doing that Akashic work, there might be a relative, an ancestor, grandparent that wants to reach out to you that will steady your connection as you do this. So you don't need to be afraid as you go into the shadow or into the dark recesses of the mind. You will be protected while you do that. And I think there's also this message of like, both of you are going to move into this energy of forgiveness. You're both going to realize that even if you don't come together in this lifetime in the way that you want to, the happy surprise is that you are in union and you'll remain good friends. Obviously, in the 3D human sense, that might take some time to orchestrate because people feel different ways about these things. But in general, I think that love will prevail. The loving energy will do what it needs to do in this connection so that both of you can either separately or together for a time be a part of the mission that you both came to do. So of course, you know, my readings are pretty truthful. It's not always going to tell you he's going to call tomorrow. If you want to know, you should pop over to my website. I have a $5 special. It's one quick question. You can text me. You can leave your phone number in the comments and I will give you a same-day response as to whether or not that will happen. But this is kind of the long, detailed, what you might not be able to see if you're not a tarot reader. So, you know, take what resonates and leave the rest. We have, what do you need to release here? The waning moon. Yeah, you know, there's just this period of coldness going on. Somebody in this connection has, I think it might be you actually, feels lonely and has such a coldness about everything that's happened. But Spirit wants you to recognize that you have to be flexible. And at the same time, you can't be imbalanced or derailed by this person. Again, believe in the impossible. It is the energy of, I'm going to attract this, or everything will be okay, or no matter what happens, it's going to be for my highest good. And of course, protect yourself by all means. If you want to wash the doors of your home, or set up energetic wards, or do prayers or sigils, or cover the walls in chokure if you do frickin' Reiki. But that's kind of why every rite ends with like, and no harm comes to none. You don't have to be afraid that your wishes have caveats and consequences. As long as you're in right alignment and right living, and you're not harming other people, and you're working consciously on eradicating your own karma, you will attract these things. You will become high vibrational. It's time to give rather than take, though. And this might be the reverse message if you're feeling uber stressed out. It might be time to also take, then give. So just be aware that it's a volatile time and these things are flying around the universe, and it's a test, really. How internally strong are we? How solid are our foundations? That when we look into the unknown, we can keep going without too much hesitation and conflict, pain. These are all really good indicators of where we're at. All right, now some people to help us out on the way, some deities, some gods and goddesses. We have Isis. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming a reality. Stay focused. Yeah, what a beautiful confirmation here of these messages. Isis is an amazing person to work with, and of course, we are coming into the Leo Stargate on 8/8, which has its own seriously spiritual significance, and I can't wait to do a reading around that day because it's just such a fascinating story, Isis and Osiris and the constellations of Orion and the helical rising of Sirius, which some believe is our second sun. And that aligns with the Great Pyramids of Egypt on that day, and some believe it's a star portal and a stargate to downloading celestial secrets, or, you know, the veil is thinnest to being close to the gods. It's just such a beautiful image that you're becoming the pharaoh. You're becoming this conduit on earth that gets to channel divinity. And amidst all of these storms, chaos, panic, and pain, you will find that solidness. You will be that anchor for others. Not an easy task, believe me, but you're protected. You're protected. So we have Holy Amethyst, Divine Alchemy. Move beyond the current challenge and focus on what you desire. A big principle of law of attraction is focusing on what you want to see and not on what you don't. My Reiki master, she loves to tell me this because I'm a thinker. I've got a moon in Gemini. I like to think about all the ins and outs of stuff, and sometimes that's a bit depressing, you know. It's so real to consider all the possibilities you can think of and why things work. And sometimes you just have to put your energy towards not even manifesting, not even the baby steps that are getting you personally where you want to go, but gosh, what do you want to see in the world today? Maybe you sit on your porch and you say, I want to have the easiest time in traffic, or I want this person to really listen and understand me in my life. These are all really good intentions to put out there, and you'll feel it in your body too, energetically. Like, it lifts your spirit. You don't feel heavy, you know. Let's see what else. And then we have Charity. Prayer and contemplation connect with the heaven. I've got a guided meditation about this, and it's really cool because you realize that, like, you're connected to the heavens or spirit or whatever by, like, this cord. And the more you practice this meditation, the more you'll feel that cord. And it's just really interesting, like, when it happens, you'll feel how grounded you are into the earth and how human and dense you are. But there's always that subtle reminder that you are a light body, and some people believe that our spirit actually houses our body. So this is just a sign here, again, with that giving and taking. Accept others' kindness. Be kind yourself. Pray whatever that looks like for you, whether that's sending an intention out there, whether that's, you know, praying in the traditional sense and going to church, whether that's, you know, writing down something that you want to create a crystal grid for, going to yoga and doing yoga to a mantra. It's just an amazing time to ascend. And ask and you shall receive. So all three of these cards are about this very concept. I've never seen that before, actually, about the law of attraction. That's pretty incredible. And then here on the bottom we have Radha, soul flame. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship harmony and healing. So that's really lovely, and it's kind of a confirmation for anybody here that feels like their twin might never come back or never leave this other person. I'm hearing that they already have, whether physically or mentally or spiritually. Obviously we don't want to cause somebody else suffering and pain, but you know, the twin flame union is a spiritual marriage. So there is no other connection that can usurp or become greater than this one. And I think that that should give us some comfort, regardless of whether or not we reach union in this lifetime. It gives you the ultimate freedom as well. And hopefully it will be the fodder for overcoming some of these 3D human emotions like jealousy and envy and judgment and anger, because it's already done, you know? But again, we have all different kinds of relationships. Some relationships are traditional. Some relationships are, let's just say, more progressive, and that's like a very broad term. No one is better than the other. Each serve their own place. So you know who you are, you know what you prefer, you know what you want. Don't apologize for that. I said in my last video, which I'll link below, that this time is really about self-acceptance. And just as a one last message here, don't expect anybody to really understand who you are, especially if you are just meeting people for the first time. People see others based on what they have experienced, and you are unlike any other. So they're never going to know exactly who they're dealing with. And so if somebody gets you wrong, don't fight fire with fire. There's a lot more to be gained from slowly and compassionately educating somebody, and guiding them into and away from certain situations and judgments just by being who you are. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I've got readings on my website. I've got guided meditations listed below. If you're interested in tarot, I've got unboxing videos. I'm thinking of unveiling a course soon. So if you're interested in that, leave me a comment. Tell me how this resonated. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Yep, that's it. That's all for now. I'll see you next week.